And hello everyone, it's time for another flashlight review. Today is one of the latest from Klarus. Klarus has been coming out with a few lights lately, and this is the XT1C. Comes in a small box because it's a small flashlight, but it does have 700 lumens as its top output. It's a nice little everyday carry light. As you can see from the package, it is tactical, compact, and programmable. It has two programming modes, and both have very similar features on both of them. So we will get to all that here in a moment. Also comes with its own battery, a rechargeable 16340 lithium battery, so that's a nice touch. On the back you do get some information, but the one that was sent to me has a big sticker on it, so it covers up some of that info, but you can see that in the manual as well. Now, as you can see, the package is empty because I have removed the contents, of which contains this user manual. So we'll look at that in detail here in a moment. You'll also get this little package, which includes, actually the manual is stuffed inside here, as well as this adjustable lanyard and a couple of spare O-rings. So that's your accessory pack. It comes with a pocket clip already attached to the light, and this is it, of course. It's about 3.5 inches long, so it's a nice carryable size, and as you can see, the clip is securely snug. However, some of the light does stick out of the pocket due to the mid placement here of the clip, and it also goes into your pocket head side up. So anyway, but it is a nice light. Has, you know, it's a little different than a lot, so we'll get to a couple of those things. Let's the manual indicates that it is a Cree XPL High V3LD. So it's got a nice new LD, a nice new LED in here, which has a pretty nice beam. And 700 lumens is your top output. The beam reaches over 210 meters. It is impact resistant, and it's waterproof, submersible actually, so it's IPX8. And as you can see here, there are bits and pieces of information here regarding the body, the aluminum, and so forth and so on. And it has how many modes? Well, it says right here. Focus, please. There we go. You have 3 regular modes, low, medium, and high. As you can see, 5, 100, and 700. And your 2 flashing modes, strobe and SOS. And there's your other bits of info right there as well. So, it of course is compatible with the CR123 disposable battery, but they give you the 16340, which is rechargeable, so there's no reason to use any other type of battery. The battery is already installed in the light, and just before we do that, let's look into the bezel here. You can see your LED amidst a smooth reflector, so you get pretty good beam throw on this light. Open her up, just untighten the head, and there's your Klarus battery, which they include. Nice 700 milliamp hour battery, so it's of good quality. You have some threads here. I believe these are looks kind of square cut to me, but and some fairly decent knurling here along the side. Now let me show you the switches on the back, because this tiny light mimics the switches on a couple of their bigger lights, which I happen to have. And the bottom features 2 buttons, a mode switch, and it's sort of like they're sort of like mode switch, power switch, you know, whatever you want to call them. But here's the one, and here's the other one. And depending on which program you have it set to, the I guess this is actually the mode switch. This is what they call the primary switch, and this is the mode switch. So depending on which program you have it set to, the mode switch will perform a different function. It has what they call tactical setting and outdoor setting. And in tactical, the mode switch will give you strobe. And in outdoor setting, the mode switch will give you SOS. So that's one of the differences between the two programming modes. I currently have it set to outdoor setting, which I think I had played around with it, so I think actually I think tactical may be the default, because for a while when I was pressing down the mode switch, it was activating strobe, and right now it's not. Also gives you the info here on how to change the settings. The diagram in here does give you all the information, although it took me probably 15 minutes or so studying it to actually realize what each of them does, and I've seen these kinds of manuals before which have similar diagrams. My website at lightsandgear.com has the full written review, and I've sort of put this all together in a more simpler fashion. At least I've explained it all there in plain English, so it might be easier if you take a look at that to realize exactly what the switches do, rather than go through this sort of, diagram tree, if you will. But anyway, I have it set in the outdoor setting right now. And let me turn off the light here, actually, before I do that. So in the outdoor setting, let me just explain this briefly. In the outdoor setting, as soon as you press this switch, it'll be in the high mode. And a lot of people like that. A lot of people say, oh, I just want high mode right away. Okay. So, keeping them quiet, you press the main button there in outdoor setting. And actually, in both settings, that'll do that. But yeah, in both the settings, the primary switch will just click it on and click it off in the high mode. So whichever setting you have at, that'll perform the same function. So on and off in high, which as I say is what a lot of people want. Just click it on, click it off, click it on, click it off, and that's all it does is come on in high mode. The other difference in the outdoor setting is with the mode switch over here. If I press that one on its own, it just comes on in like a tactical low mode. Does make a click, but that's all it does is low mode. If you release it, it just goes off. But if you want it to stay on, you have to hold down the switch for a couple seconds, and then it will stay on in low mode. So that in effect is giving you instant low, and the other switch is giving you instant high. Now if I were to press the primary switch while this is in low, it simply goes off. So again, if I have it on and low, and I press the mode switch while it's on, it'll then cycle through the other two modes and go to medium and high, and then right back down to low. So it'll continue to do that. If I want the flashing mode in this particular case, then all I do is press down on the mode switch. Let's see, press down and hold the mode switch, and in that case it turned off. Okay, I had to go through this a couple of times. Anyway, what it will do is activate SOS mode in that one. You see, it's kind of, you really have to master this, and I thought I did, but then when I pressed down on when I clicked the mode switch there, it went off. But in theory, a long press is supposed to activate SOS. Oh, there it goes. Now it's doing it. Okay. Operator error, I guess. So now it's doing SOS. Okay. In a tactical setting, in the tactical setting, when you do that, it will activate strobe instead of SOS. And in the tactical setting, strobe is activated just by pressing down on the mode switch all by itself, even though the light is off. So anyway, that's in a nutshell how to operate the light. And as I say, if you go to my website, you will have it written out in you know, in ABC fashion, 1, 2, 3 fashion, so you'll get a better idea of how that works. But anyway, here is the high mode, and for 700 or so lumens, I'm sure you can imagine that it's going to be pretty bright, and it does do a fairly nice, you know, it gives you a fairly nice beam. Sorry about my camera, it's kind of waving all over the place there. Hold on a second. Okay, there we go. So there's your high mode, and of course, clicking that through here is low, and you can see the beam is pretty nice. It's got a nice. I don't see any artifacts here, and no really annoying rings or anything like that. So it's got a nice sunlight kind of beam. So we're in low, and here's medium, and here's high, and you're back to low. So you know, it's has fairly simple modes, and once you get the programming aspect of it down, or once you set your programming, then once you've done it a couple of times, it's not too bad to be able to fly through those as you need to. And you can turn it off a couple of different ways. Once it's on like this, press and hold this switch, and then it kind of turns into SOS. Or you can just press the primary switch and turn it right off. The only thing about this light is, of course, it has no side switch, which a lot of lights today do. In that fashion, we're sort of used to holding it like this, you know, and clicking the side switch, as we've done with 90% of the lights that have come out today in recent years and so forth. So, but the difference here is you just got to hold it from the end. So it's almost, you're sort of holding it in more of a tactical fashion than clicking a button on the side. So with this, you always have to be holding it in this fashion like this to be able to operate it in this way or this way. So it all depends what you're used to, and it all depends what you like. But so that's the way you got to hold it, and that's the way you have to operate it. So Klarus XT1C was provided by GearBest. There is a link below if you'd like to pick one up from their website, and or you can check out my written review, which has the link in there as well, and you can learn more about other types of flashlights, batteries, chargers, etc. So I do thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the video. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.